Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Welcome to podcast episode 264. Today we have 5 questions, and remember, if you have a question, send it to support@michaelquarles.com. Here we go. I called a seller and was attempting to get information on his home so I could assemble a subject to deal and ask how much he owed on his home. When asked how much he owed on his home, he said, "I don't see how that matters. It's a non-assumable loan." Question: what is a non-assumable loan exactly? How did this affect the real estate investor, wholesaler, etc. when trying to make a deal? Non-assumables. In the old days, 70s or so, there used to be loans that you could assume. So you bought a FHA house or something, and the loan traveled with the house, and the new owner now became responsible for it. Today, we don't have those anymore, so the loans are non-assumable. So you have to qualify for a loan to buy a house. However, when you buy subject to, the concept of subject to is you're buying the property subject to all of the voluntary and involuntary liens. The loans don't get paid off, or the liens don't get paid off. They don't transfer onto your credit report. They stay on the credit report of the borrower. And it's actually one of the easiest and fastest ways to get a home sold. The downfall to sub-to investing is the lender has the right to accelerate the due on sale clause. So because you've transferred it out of the person who was the borrower's name into something else other than a trust, then they can accelerate. So, and then on the trust, that there has to be certain provisions carried through and carried out. So we don't have assumable loans anymore. They're all non-assumable. So just have to qualify. How does it affect real estate? Doesn't affect me a bit. Doesn't affect me a bit. Wholesalers, if you're an assigner, that's a different thing. So if you're using the wholesaler word as that you mean an assignment or assigner, doesn't really affect. As long as you know the guidelines and how you interact within them and the rules, it doesn't, I don't see a big deal. Now, the real question is how did you respond to the seller when he says, "I don't see how that matters"? Because that happens to us too. We get that objection, and the reality is the objection handler is what we're trying to do is gather all the information so we can make you the best offer possible. So how much is the loan balance? And, if they don't want to answer that question, they're just not motivated. They're not going to be a seller to us. So that's okay. If they want to get themselves out of the way and say goodbye in the very beginning before I put a lot of work and effort into this, I'd rather them do that than go through the whole process and then them go away. So now if someone wants to object to that, they're not a seller. Question number 2. Just got a call from a lead in Arizona. The guy said he got his place for $60K and just put $70K of work on it or into it. I did some research and found it was not actually a single family home, like he said, but a trailer. Comps are all over the place. One says 80 to 110. Estimate or Zestimate is 30. Not sure how I should proceed. I have never wholesaled a trailer before. By the way, I can't provide the address here. I don't have it under contract yet. Any advice? Well, I wouldn't share the address anyway. You can't go by comparable sales. You absolutely can't go by Zestimates, which is why we pull 7 data sets. We take an average. We look at all the information. You really have to really have to look at a CMA. A trailer is no longer, it's always going to be a trailer, I guess, but the moment that they bolt it down to the earth, then it's more like a single family, for lack of better things. It's no longer a motor vehicle. It's actually real property. In some areas, trailers are dominant. As an example, I love the coast of California, a little city called Carpinteria. In Carpinteria, there's a mobile home park. Inside of that mobile home park, you can buy a mobile home for $250,000 and up. But you can also walk within a few feet to the ocean. And so it's all about location, of course. So, in some areas, trailers are just dominant because that's all they can put there. And at one time, that's what they did. And so that's what you have. Now, in an area where it's not a dominant feature, I don't buy them. So if someone says trailer, boy, they'd have to really convince me that I even look at it. And in fact, my Alexes are trained that we don't buy trailers. So they'd have to really beg us, like give it to us in order for us to even be excited about it. So I don't buy trailers. But yeah, if someone's crazy if they put $70,000 into a bolted down trailer to a piece of property. But that doesn't mean they couldn't have. I mean, they're just crazy for putting that much money. I can build a whole friggin' real house for $70,000. So I know that because I have before. I think I've built 72 houses in my lifetime. It's been fun. Question number 3. When mailing a direct mail campaign out of state, should I get a P.O. box in the state or would my local address be sufficient? Your local address is going to be, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine. There's going to be a little bit less call or response to something that's out of state, but then again, there could be intrigue as well, which is why we don't put our name on our return address, because we want that intrigue. Who is this writing me? But on a postcard, who cares? And keep in mind that the post office on standard stamp mail doesn't return that to you anyway. They require a return address, but they don't return it to you. So hypothetically, it could be a fake address because it's never going to be a used address. And then on first class mail, they don't require a return address, but they do return it to you if you have one. So just keep that in mind.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 4. What's the best source for creating a buyer's list? I like ListSource. I like pulling absentee-owned cash purchases last 6 months, single family. But there's another one as well. Go down to the auction. So find out where the auction is in your area, when it is, what time it is, what day it is. Go down there. We had just been down to the auction this last week, and there was like 20 people there. They're all cash buyers. They're all looking for good deals. Go down there and find a buyer. I also like the MLS because I know 75% of the investors out there use the MLS to find their property, and they typically pay the most anyway. But if you want a true buyer's list, last 6 months, absentee-owned, single families, 100% paid off. And then the auctions for gathering the cash buyers there as well. Question number 5. I've been hearing a lot about your coaching program. Well, that's cool. What is the success rate of your students? Well, that's kind of like asking me for a reference. And anybody that asks someone for a reference is what they're really doing is they're telling you that they're uncertain about their own ability or that they can make up their own opinion, because anybody that gives you a reference is going to give you their best reference. It's like mom's going to call you. Yeah, why don't you call my mom and she'll tell you how great I am. Well, that doesn't really answer the question at all. And because somebody else is doing great or somebody else is doing terrible doesn't in fact mean that you're either going to do great or you're going to do terrible. Success in life is about what you do, how you present yourself, those actions that you take, the goals that you set, getting out of bed and doing something, being better today than you were yesterday, and being better tomorrow than you were today. That's really, it's all about you. Now, I can tell you we have 52 classes a month. I can tell you you'll get accountability coach. I can tell you that you have a CRM system to manage your activities. I can tell you can watch a host of videos and audios and talk to me all the time. I can tell you that we'll answer your phone for you. But the reality of it is you still have to participate. And if you're not quite there, don't jump. Only start when you're ready to start. When the pain of not being an investor is greater than whatever pain you have, don't do it until you're ready. When you're ready to make a bucket load of money, then become an investor. But up until that point, If it's just talk, if it's just, thought, don't do it. I don't want everybody to be a successful real estate investor. I hate saying it like that, but if everybody was, it wouldn't mean anything. It's like everybody being a great rock star singer. Well, we wouldn't go to concerts. There has to be extraordinary people out there, and we have to make certain that those are the ones that survive. And if you want to be extraordinary, then it starts with your own inner personal, desire to win. When you stand in the room, who's the best one in the room? I am when I stand in that room. If someone said, Mike, who's the best investor you know? Absolutely me. If I stood in the room with several other national trainers, who's the best one in the room? Absolutely me. I just don't have any other thought process. I am absolutely going to get the contract. If I go out there to a seller, I know what to say, I know how to say it, I know when to say it, I know how to communicate it in a way that causes the seller to say yes, and typically they're going to say yes to a lower offer than somebody else because I know I'm that good. How good are you? And when you have that confidence, get into the coaching program. I'll show you how to do it. But I can't create confidence in you. You have to have that. Well, I can nurture you. I can teach you. I can do all those things. I can dress you up and make you look like an investor, but you still have to be the investor. You still have to do it. It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. Doesn't matter. We've got guys and gals that are kicking, butt, and we have guys and gals that they're not. And it's all about them. So that was a revelation I had years ago, because I wanted everybody to be, at the beginning really like super successful, and if they weren't, it was my fault. No, not my fault a bit. If I give you the tools and to be successful, and I teach you exactly how I do it today, because I'm actually an investor today. I'm not an investor before. I didn't read a book about it and became an investor or teacher. I'm actually investing, and I'm a coach right today. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to teach you how I do it. I'm going to give you the tools I use. I'm going to give you my CRM, my scripts, my contracts, everything about it. There are 52 classes a month. Think about that. You can actually sit in on 52 classes a month on real estate investing. It's not about what anybody else does. It's about what you do, how you take that information and how you fall forward. So that's just all I have to say about that. But I'm a pretty strong-willed person. I know what I want, and when I want something, I'll go get it. It's a great opinion to have in life, and it's a great personality trait, I think. It's not a personality flaw. And those of us that have that thing, however you want to define it, those of us that won't let an obstacle get in our way, and if we fall down, we fall forward, we get back up again, and we continue to charge. We just don't make the mistake we made before to fall down. But man, we're always falling forward. We are always stretching out to win. And if that's you, get in the program. If it's not you, don't get in. We don't want halfwayers. We want all the wayers. And life is full of halfway people. And that's okay. We need them. But if you want to get into the program and you say, hey, I can do anything I set my mind to, then get in. Change your life. Have that paradigm shift. Change the definition of what money means to you, and then you'll be the definition of success for yourself. When you do that, when money no longer means the ability to pay a bill, but money means the ability to help somebody else who can't help themselves. When you can define money as the privilege and not a requirement. Pretty cool. Talk to you later. Have a good day.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.